You are listening to the Becoming the Wealthy You podcast with Jermaine Foley. If you're a woman who makes good money in your career or business, but you're not building wealth like you want to, then you're in the right place. In this podcast, you'll learn how to stop overspending, break free from the cycle of debt, save lots of cash, and become the wealthy woman you were born to be. Let's dive in. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so glad you're here today because I want to tell you about an in-person workshop I led recently. I was in a room full of brilliant six-figure earners. These were all women in corporate America, and they had the titles, the salaries, the homes, the degrees, and on paper, they were killing it. But when we got into real conversation, the conversation that's kind of underneath the surface, something really surprising came up, and I want to talk about it with you today. A lot of them felt pressure, not pressure to succeed because they were already doing that, but pressure to pay. Pressure to pick up the tab, pressure to help family, pressure to say yes even when they really wanted to say no. And one woman in particular shared something that really stuck with me. She said, I feel like because I make the most in my friend group, everyone just expects me to pay. And honestly, I expect it too. I think I should be paying because I make more than everybody. So I do it, but I really deep down don't want to. And that just really hit me. Because so many of us are carrying this same weight, not just managing our own money, but also managing other people's expectations of us and managing our own brains when it comes to what we should or shouldn't be doing with our money. And so that is what this episode is about today. We're going to talk about what to do when you're the successful one in your family or in your friend group, and what to do when you're the one who's made it and everyone knows it. While that can feel good, it can also feel really heavy because when people think you've got it all together, they can start assuming things like you should cover the tab, you've got extra to give, ask her, she can afford it, she can do it, and they expect you to step in over and over and over again. And if you're a Gen X woman, especially, you're in the thick of it. So the Pew Research Company calls Generation X the sandwich generation. So this is women who are around my age. You were born in 1980 or earlier, and I think somewhere like in the 60s. I don't know the exact time frame, but you know if you're a Gen X or not. I know I am. I just missed being a millennial by like a couple months. So we are called the sandwich generation because we are taking care of our own kids, even if they're adults, young adults, we're still taking care of them, and our aging parents. So that means you're raising your kids, helping your mom, and probably still trying to enjoy your own life and set yourself up for retirement one day too. But here's what's also true. Experian, the credit reporting company, found that Gen Xers carry more debt than any other generation. They carry an average of $150,000 worth of debt. So all of this is true, and yet everyone thinks you've got it handled. So when your cousin or sister needs help with rent, or your friend just expects you to pick up the check at happy hour, or your adult child is always a little short, or maybe your parents need help with their medical bills, you feel like you have to say yes. Because isn't that what we're supposed to do as successful women? So today we're going to break all of that down. And if you have other women in your life who are also the successful ones, share this episode with them because it's going to be so liberating. Because here's the truth. Sometimes the pressure that we feel is external. People really do ask us for money. They expect things from us and they assume we should just handle it. But other times the pressure is internal. We feel guilty. We feel bad. We feel like we should. We feel obligated. We don't want to seem selfish. We don't want anybody to think that we're not generous. So we overgive. A Credit Karma study recently found that 39% of those surveyed have felt financially burdened by others due to their perceived success. And nearly 1 in 3 spent money they didn't have just to avoid looking selfish. That's real. And that's not about being generous, that's guilt spending. And guilt spending comes at a high cost because it derails your goals, it chips away at your savings, it causes you to go deeper in debt, it prevents you from investing like you want to so that you can build wealth, and it just robs you from the ability to truly enjoy your life. And here's one more stat for today. Only 14% of Gen Xers feel like they're on track for retirement. I want you to let that sink in. Really think about that. So you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your kids, maybe even adult kids, you're taking care of aging parents, and yet you're not on track for your own retirement. So what is happening here? What we're doing is we're going to perpetuate the cycle of the younger generation always having to take care of the older generation. And that is a cycle we just want to get rid of. So just like they tell you on the airplane, put your own oxygen mask on first before assisting others. This is what we must do, ladies. We have to stop trying to help everybody else at our own expense, at the expense of taking care of our own financial security. So here's that stat again. Only 14% of Gen Xers feel on track for retirement. But here's the shocking part of that stat. 40% of those surveyed through Schroders have saved less than $100K total for retirement. So while we're walking around helping everyone else, we're not helping ourselves. That is really, really scary. So if you feel like you're behind, even though you make good money, you are not alone. You are not alone. And this episode is exactly what you need so that you can start doing things a little differently. And listen, it's not about not helping people. That's not what this episode is about. I truly believe that it's human nature to be generous and want to help others. That's totally fine. But we need to do it from a place that will not hurt us financially. We need to do it from a place that will still allow us to flourish financially so that when we are ready to retire, we're not relying on our kids to help us, right? And so that is what this episode is about. It is not about not helping people. It's about learning to help from a place of love, not pressure. Because the Bible says God loves a cheerful giver. So when you give, do it joyfully, not out of guilt, not because you feel like you should. You want to give because you want to, and because it won't chip away at your financial security. So let's talk about how to actually do that. So here are some practices that I coach my clients on and I use in my own life. Now listen, if any of what I've said so far resonates with you, if you're like, oh my gosh, I know I'm an overgiver. I know this is holding me back. I know this is one of the reasons why I don't have a lot saved, why I'm overspending, why I'm stuck in the cycle of credit card debt, why I'm not investing to my full ability, even though I make good money, then I want to invite you to consider joining me in Own Your Wealth, which is my year-long coaching mentorship. This is where we will clean all of this up so that you can give from a place of abundance, you will give from a place of generosity, and from a place that will not hurt you financially. Okay, I will help you to create processes and protocols and boundaries around your money that you will love sticking to. And I'm going to talk about some of that today. But listen, all of us are different. We all have different dynamics. Actually, episode 79, I talked to one of my clients. She came on and shared her story around working with me, her success story. Her name was Sheila, and it was episode 79. Go back and listen to that episode because we talk about a lot of this, and we were able to customize plans and boundaries and protocols for her according to her real life. So what I'm talking about now is kind of like general, but you have your own unique life, and that is what we do in Own Your Wealth. We create a plan for your money based on your goals, based on your dreams, based on your lifestyle, so that you can stop stressing about money all the time and so that you can become the wealthy woman you want to be. So if that sounds like something you want in your life, you need in your life, you are invited to book a consultation with me. All you have to do is go to jermainefoley.com/consult and book your financial clarity consultation. I would love to meet you. During that call, we will look at where you are, where you want to go, and I will tell you exactly how we will work together over the next several months to get you there. Okay. We'll look at your problem and I will tell you the solution to solve your problems and how I can help you to do that and own your wealth. Because the truth is, there's nothing like having someone there to support you, to guide you, and to be there for accountability so that you can create the financial life that you actually want. Okay. So now let's talk about how to set money boundaries that actually work and that you can feel good about. Boundaries do not have to come from being fed up. They do not have to be dramatic. You do not have to wait until someone has crossed the line to set one. You do not have to be angry about it. Actually, it's better to create boundaries when you're calm, when things are calm, when nobody's asking you for money, when the check hasn't hit the table yet, and you're clear on what feels right for you. Okay? And just so we're on the same page, boundaries are personal. You do not need to announce them to the world. You do not need to tell everybody that you have these new rules in your life. This is something for you to decide for yourself and to stick to because it protects your money and it protects your peace of mind. So here are some simple ways to put some boundaries in action. Okay, so the first one is make a giving budget. So you can open up a separate account, or if you use Ally Bank, the high yield savings account that I absolutely love, then you can create a bucket for giving. And so maybe you decide that, okay, I know how my family is set up. Somebody always needs something. I'm going to set aside $50 a month, $100 a month in this account, whatever you're comfortable with. It can be less, it can be more. And this is your yes money. So when someone asks for help and you want to do it, you're covered. You have that money sitting there. And when it's gone, it's gone. And you can replenish it every month. Maybe people don't ask for money every month. And so, it gets to accumulate. And then you get to pull from that. And it's just stress-free. You can be generous. You can do it from love, not from stress. And you can still help out. This can be your secret giving stash that no one knows about. Okay, so you don't have to tell everybody that you're setting up this account and it has a certain amount in it. No, this is something that you do. You know it's there. And when someone needs help, you can say, okay, I got you. Here's $50 or here's $100, whatever is in there. But the trick is you decide ahead of time that this is what you're going to do. And when the money is gone, it's gone. So you still need to practice being able to say, no, I don't have it at this time, because you don't have money in that account, right? I've got something for you. If you make good money, but overspending is keeping you stuck in the cycle of credit card debt with little to no savings, you're invited to book a financial clarity consultation with me, yours truly. This is for you if you're ready for real support, not just more free advice that can be found on Google or quick fixes that never really solve the problem. Let's be honest, you know what you should be doing, but you're not doing it. Not because you're undisciplined or bad with money, but because of patterns you were never taught to undo. But that's where I come in. A financial clarity consultation is a private session where we'll look at where you are, where you want to go, and what's standing in the way. And if we both agree that working together is the best next step, I'll tell you how we can move forward inside of my coaching program, the Wealthy Woman's Academy, which is private one-on-one coaching, just me, you, and your money. And if you're worried that getting your finances in order will mean giving up everything you love, don't. My philosophy is rooted in what I call the do both method. I believe you can build wealth and enjoy your life at the same time. That means yes, you can still vacation and say yes to things that matter. You'll leave this session with more clarity than you've had in a long time, plus real insight on what to do next to solve your money issues for good. If that sounds like what you've been needing, you're invited to go to jermainefoley.com/consult to book your session. That's Jermaine with a G, Foley.com/consult, or simply visit the show notes. Now let's jump back into the episode. Now, another way you can do this is, let's say you have a close family member, like a mother or a father, and they need help consistently, or an adult child even. This is a great example for an adult child. And they're just in a place where they need your help and you want to be there for them. You can do this, but you can give them access to the account. So you can say, hey, every month I'm going to put a couple hundred in there and it's yours, but when it's gone, it's gone. You can give them access, maybe a debit card or something like that, to a specific account that you feed every month. And this gives you, again, the ability to be generous. You do it from love. You don't do it from obligation or guilt. You pick an amount that you can easily afford, that feels good to you, and that will help the person that you love. Because at the end of the day, if one of your loved ones really need help, and if it's a parent or a child especially, you want to be there for them. And this is a really great way you can do it that is mutually beneficial for them and for you. The other boundary you can create for yourself is this: decide if you're going to pay or not before you go out. So we know the drill, right? You go out to happy hour with your friends, you go to coffee, you go to brunch, you go to dinner, and the waitress always comes by and they always ask this question: separate or together? Is this check going to be separate or together? What you want to do is to start deciding this ahead of time. Before you go out, just ask, am I paying today or not? That way, when the server asks, the question that they always ask, is this together or separate? You're not having to make an impulse decision. If no one else answers, let there be silence for a second or two, and then simply say separate, please. If the answer was no, say separate, please. And this is something you can practice. Now, we often feel pressure to pick up the check because, again, we think we make more than everyone else. But how do you even really know that, right? We're just making an assumption. Again, this is where that internal pressure comes in. So when people are asking you, that's external pressure, right? But when you are just thinking you should because you think you make more than everyone else, that's internal pressure. So that has nothing to do with anybody else. That's all on you. And to my question, how do you know that you make more than everyone else? Maybe they make less, but their lifestyle is simpler. They don't have kids, maybe they don't have a mortgage, or maybe their mortgage is way less than yours, or maybe they're just not out here paying for everybody all the time, so they have more discretionary income. So they actually have more left over at the end of the month than you do. So let's stop assuming that we should pay because we make more than everybody else, and stop spending like you're the only one who can afford it. Because here's a little bit of tough love. When you walk around thinking you're the only one who can afford it, that's kind of arrogant. Like, people can afford things. Hopefully they wouldn't be sitting at the table with you if they couldn't afford to pay for their drinks or their dinner. And so we should stop shoulding on ourselves all the time, thinking we should do it, feeling guilty and obligated and like we're selfish if we don't. Listen, I'm not just talking to you. I am talking to myself. I know what it's like to feel that discomfort of like, okay, should I pay? Or just jumping in and just paying for it for no reason. No one asks. And everybody's like, okay, thank you. But really, you didn't want to do it. Now you feel like, oh gosh, I'm about to spend $200 or $100 and I only ordered $30 worth of stuff. Like, why are you doing that to yourself? So sit with that discomfort. Sit with it. So when the waitress comes, before the waitress comes, decide before you even get into the restaurant, am I paying for everybody or not? Sometimes the answer is yes. Like, I want to pay for everybody. They paid last time. I want to pay this time. Or, yeah, I'm feeling generous. I want to. But don't gaslight yourself either to say you want to when you really don't. So just be careful there. But just practice saying separate, please, right? If the answer is no, practice it. Practice it in the mirror. Practice it in the car while you're going there. Be willing to sit with that 2 seconds. Literally, it's probably like 2 seconds of awkward silence. And who knows, someone else might say, I got it. And you get to be treated this time. And sometimes it's hard for us successful women to receive. So there's a saying that I heard recently: give generously and cheerfully, but receive graciously. Let someone else pay for you sometimes. This was an issue for me, you all. So I'm literally preaching to myself while I talk about this. But recently I went out with an old college friend, and she was like, I want to treat you today. And I was like, oh my gosh, it felt a little uncomfortable, but I allowed myself to receive it graciously because typically that's me always treating everybody else. And it's good to be on the receiving end sometimes, but we have to allow it. So pause before you just take the check. Decide ahead of time if you're going to take it at all. Pause. And if no one else says anything, you just simply say, separate, please. So this was one of the big aha moments that people walked away with at that workshop I mentioned earlier. This was a big deal because they felt like, some of their friends are teachers or flight attendants or this or that, and they just don't make as much. And again, we talked about the importance of sitting with the discomfort, but we also talked about okay, yeah, they may have a lower income than you, but they may have more money than you. You just can't count other people's pockets. So I hope this landed well. Okay, so the next boundary you can create is to decide that you won't give any loans, just gifts. This is one of my personal values, one of my personal rules. I do not loan money, and if I want to help and I have it to give, then I'll give it. But I don't want to be waiting on money to come back to me. I don't want the relationship to get awkward. I don't want anybody feeling awkward around me, and I don't want to have to chase anyone down. So I do not lend money. It's either a gift or a no. And honestly, because people know that, because they've come to me and asked for money, I'll say, hey, I don't lend money, but I can give you this amount. So maybe they needed $200. I would say, hey, I don't lend money. That's just a personal rule I have for myself, but I can give you, $50, or maybe I give them the whole thing, but they know that it's a gift. And because they know that, they stop coming back. It's so interesting. When you tell people, hey, I don't lend money, but here, I'll help you out this time, consider it a gift, they hardly ever come back. That's very interesting to me. So because of this personal value and personal rule I have, I rarely get asked for money, and I'm okay with that. Another boundary you can set for yourself is to help without handing over cash. Instead of always giving money, you can share a resource, especially if it's someone who is in a position where they could be doing better. They're just lacking resources and skills and the ability to really manage their money well. Offer them something that can really help them. You know that saying, give a man a fish, he'll eat today. Teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. That's what's happening here. So send them this podcast, recommend a really good book, or offer to help them with their money management. You don't always have to fix their problems. You can actually point them in a better way. And that could really be what they need, because just giving them money, they're going to always need it. I'm sorry. Giving someone money, it does not solve their money problems. What needs to happen is they need some behavior changes. They need a mindset shift. They need to think differently about money so that they can start acting differently with money. So send them a resource that can really help them. I've heard from several of you during financial clarity consultations that you found out about my podcast because a friend or a sister shared it. That is so beautiful to me. One of my clients, her sister gave it to her, and now she's a client. Like, she's actually helping herself. So instead of her sister just saying, here's some money, she was like, hey, you need to listen to this podcast. And now she's getting the help that she really needs because she listened and what I said resonated with her. And now she's a client because she really wants to change. And so give them resources. Don't always bail them out. That is a really good boundary to set. Or you can even say something like, you know what, I'm going to help you this one time. If they come back, then you know, okay, I need to give them a resource. So they're not always coming back to you for money. And then the last boundary, or exercise, I would call this, is to just practice being uncomfortable. Saying no, practice speaking up. All of that can feel awkward. So just go ahead and practice it ahead of time. If you're usually the one that covers the tab, rehearse what you'll say when the check comes. Get used to sitting in that awkward silence for a few seconds before you say separate, please. But give others an opportunity to speak up first. This will get easier, I promise you. But here's the truth. Most of the time, again, we say yes because it's more comfortable than saying no. Not because we want to, not because we want to be generous. We're doing it out of comfort. but that comfort is costing you. It's costing you stress, it's costing you resentment, and it is costing you your financial security. Okay, so remember this principle. I've talked about it before on the podcast. Doing the hard thing first makes life easier. So sitting with that discomfort. So doing that uncomfortable thing by saying no, or by saying separate please, or just being silent, doing that will make your life easier in the future. People will stop assuming that you got it, or you'll stop paying for things even though you don't really want to be, because it's stopping you from reaching some of your other financial goals. And here's another thing I want you to watch out for. Your brain can be like, oh, it's only $50. Oh, it's only $100, or it's only this, it's only that, but that adds up. So do not let your brain trick you about the price, because it's not about the price, it's about the practice. Because if you're constantly doing that, it adds up and it causes you to overspend. It causes you to go deeper in debt. It causes you not to be investing at the level or in saving at the level you want to be saving at. So don't let the price give you a pass. Like, oh, it's only $20. Oh, no, it's the practice. Practice, no matter the amount, saying separate please, or just being silent and letting someone else speak up first. Okay, so again, back to the principle, just so I finish it. Doing the hard thing first makes life easier, but doing the easy thing first makes life harder. So the easy thing is just to pick up the check in the moment, but that makes your life harder down the road, especially if you're always doing it. Okay, so here's one last thing about boundaries. Do not wait until you're annoyed or stressed to figure this out. Right now is actually the best time when nothing's happening and you can think clearly. Decide how much you're willing to give. Decide how you'll handle dinner checks moving forward. Make the decision before you're in the moment. Like I said, if you're about to go out to dinner with friends, decide ahead of time. Ask yourself, am I paying today or not? And use not just your intuition, but actual facts, actual numbers. Like, should I be paying today? How are things? Do I have some extra money? And do I want to spend it this way? Like, just use data when you're actually making that decision. Don't just go off of your feelings or your emotions, which are just trying to keep you in your comfort zone. So again, make the decision before you're in the moment. And remember, you don't have to tell everybody. This is for you. You're just giving yourself some structure so that next time something comes up, you're not scrambling or second guessing. You just know exactly what to do. Okay, so to wrap things up, let's bring in a version of my do both method here. Here it is. You can do both. You can be generous and protect your financial security. This is the heart of what I teach. You don't have to choose. You do not have to choose between this or that. You can choose and. You want to be financially secure and you want to be generous. But how are you going to do that? You're going to do it by taking me up on putting those boundaries in place, okay? Because this is the heart of what I teach. You can do both. You don't have to sacrifice joy to get your money together. You don't have to pick up the check to be a good person. You don't have to fund other people's emergencies at the cost of your own financial security. You can be generous and have boundaries. You can help others, but without hurting yourself. You can build wealth and still show up for your people in a way that is sustainable. That is what the do both method is all about, right? I know I talk about building wealth and enjoying life, but you can apply it to so many other areas too. So you don't have to choose between either or. You can have both. And that is what we're doing around here. So again, if this episode spoke to you, go back and listen to the one I did with my client, Sheila. It was episode number 79. She used to feel the same pressure. She felt the pressure to say yes to family members when they asked for money and to always pick up the check. But now she knows how to give guilt-free only when she wants to and only when it makes sense financially. And this is really keeping her on track with her money goals. And if you want that kind of help, support, guidance, and accountability in your own life, then you are invited to book a financial clarity consultation. That's exactly what Sheila did. She booked a financial clarity consultation. We looked at what her struggles were. I gave her 3 ways we would solve all of her problems in my coaching program, and she signed up, and now this is what we were able to create for her. And if you want that same support, guidance, and accountability, you're invited to book your own financial clarity consultation by going to jermainefoley.com/consult. That's Jermaine with a G, foley.com/consult. Or you can simply go to the show notes and click the link there. And I would love, love, love to meet you and help you to get your finances under control, where you want them to be, so that you can become the wealthy woman that you deserve to be. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Wait, before you go, have you checked out my free class? It's all about the steps you need to take if you want to build wealth without going on a strict budget. To sign up, simply go to jermainefoley.com/wealth class. That's Jermaine with a G, foley.com/wealth class. See you in there.